噂夕映えに響く廊下室のドアそっと閉じた
Hello, and welcome to the Double D Podcast, episode 22. Today we have some new guests to the podcast that you might know. Today, I'm joined with Mr. Exit,
Hello.
Chris the Hamster,
Hola, amigos.
Archangel,
What's up?
and Mr. Slicer.
Hi guys.
So, what's going on, guys? What are we talking about? Why'd you bring me here?
China.
You invited me. I thought I was led to believe that we were going to talk about some real existential ideas, very philosophical.
And who brought up those ideas?
I actually do not remember. It was probably Mr. Yes, it was probably Hamster Boy.
No. Maybe.
I wouldn't
Possibly.
know.
So we're talking about the afterlife?
Yeah.
Did
Interesting.
Mr. Hamster Man?
I mean, the afterlife
decide
is a
to, you know,
the afterlife is a pretty it's a pretty interesting topic. Very existential indeed.
You know what, Mr. Hamster? We'll go off your idea because you're
Yeah.
a smart man, I guess.
I mean,
Right.
I don't know about the smart part on that. I mean, I am a man, I think, at least, but I
Someone
got
stop
the
him.
I got
Actually,
the idea.
before we
Yeah.
start, kind of wanna explain something really quick. So if you guys have been on the channel for a while, you guys may have seen all of these guys because all of these guys have been on previous videos. You've seen Chris a lot with his his random
Wiki man.
I don't know fart I don't know fucking
Fart moment. Excuse me. I was gonna say something like squeaky boy or like squeaky voice or something. That
Small
works too.
child.
You've seen Slicer, you've seen Exit, you've seen Ark and other videos, but if you're wondering where those are from like the latest CSGO, latest Bunny Moments videos, so it's pretty much that's pretty much it on their background. But anyways, so Mr.
Yeah. just straight doxing me out here.
Easy dots.
Might as well plug my address. If you guys want that too, it's 226.
Oh, wait,
So,
hold on.
Mr.
I
Hamster-
don't care. I don't care.
Wait, let him
So,
continue.
Mr. Hamster.
Yeah.
So what did you want to talk about? I mean, we already know what you want to talk about, but how about you lead us off, sir?
Well, I got the idea from sitting in a call with Harry and trying to explain
happened.
the most minuscule details of how people have different ideas about things, right? Like the afterlife or whatever. It's like, obviously you can't come up with an answer for it, right? There's no answer for it because you gotta be dead to find it out.
Mhm.
But Harry was being dead set on, you know what? Nah, I feel like there is nothing after. We're all gonna die. And he was dead set on it, so that's kind of where I got the idea from. But
See, a lot of people say that, but the thing is, I like to believe that something does happen in the afterlife, regardless of just everybody just being like, scientifically speaking, your brain just does not exist, and so you wouldn't. I don't fucking know. I'm fucking stupid, so I can't say much about that. But what I can say is that I do believe that somehow we still get to experience something in the afterlife. But I don't know. I'm led to believe that Ark would think otherwise. I don't know. I just get that hinge feeling in my butt.
Can I raise my hand?
Yes.
You could also
Okay.
just
put your
talk.
card down if you talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing is, right? When it comes to philosophy, there are many opinions, right?
Yeah.
And one of those falls under like the idea that your mind is actually separate from your body. So people are just like, yo, you don't actually like die when you die. Your body dies, but your brain exists.
That's an interesting idea. I've actually never heard that.
Yeah.
So like your mind, it's a form of spirituality, or your mind is non-physical. It's an interesting study.
So,
I
yeah,
personally
kinda
believe you're
like,
fucking dead when you die. So,
So kind of like on the same lines of like Christianity, where we believe in like we have spirits that go into heaven basically. So like the mind just goes somewhere else is what you mean. Right?
yeah. So the thought process behind it is your mind is not physical. It's
More like
Spiritual.
An
air,
energy kind of thing.
like
it's
air. or something.
yeah. Think of
Like by mind, do you
vape
mean?
cloud.
Do you
Like
mean
your
like
consciousness.
consciousness? Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Ah, yeah.
So what you think and you believe, think of that as a vape cloud, and then your body is the
Of
vape
course.
itself. You fucking
That is the only natural like metaphor.
yeah, because like it dissipates, because sometimes your mind's
Yeah.
blank,
Only vape clouds.
See,
Cool.
But the thing I'm wondering is like, wait, you did it. Wait, did you say where it would go, or is that like still like being studied or something like that? You get what I mean?
It's completely opinion based. There's no solid facts as to whether or not your mind is separate physically from your body.
I mean, yeah.
Well, yeah, but to be fair though, there's no evidence towards any form of afterlife.
Yeah, I mean, you can't
And
prove it.
Ark already kind of took the position of, I guess the cynist, where he was like, "You're fucking dead." But
Yeah.
I will also, I'll hop on the
But, you know.
cynist train just for a bit here and saying, if you do think that there is nothing and it's just emptiness, that's something I've actually pretty much just kind of thought my whole life as to, it'll lead to no disappointments. But also, it's actually been a tough thought sometimes, like especially younger me. There were times when and I don't recommend this. There are times when you would just think about, shit, one day I'm gonna be dead. I was like, that's unavoidable, but it'll probably be that even after that day, because I don't believe in an afterlife, there'll just be nothing for eternity, for the rest of time. Now that's a terrible thought, and it's best to not think about that. But that's why I understand the want for an afterlife, because it's like a beacon of hope for an otherwise more grim alternative.
Well, I kind of disagree. I'm
Go for
not
it.
really too sure about the existence of an afterlife or not, but
Mhm.
what I do know is that ever since I stopped believing in the existence of an afterlife, my life has been a lot easier because I've been able to enjoy more materialistic things rather than being connected to my spiritual self. I can enjoy, maybe not materialistic, but I can enjoy doing things I want rather than worrying about some sort of Christian sin. Or I can, it's almost like the prospect of heaven compels you to do something that you don't necessarily want to do all the time. It binds you to a community of people you may not want to be with. It binds you to act like a good person, but sometimes we just don't want to be a good person. So it kind of holds us back from being our true selves, in a sense, caving into human nature. And instead, when you kind of let go of this prospect of trying to always be good and avoiding bad, you can delve into something more like hedonistic. Like maybe you can just enjoy yourself and focus on individual growth rather than spiritual growth, if that makes sense.
That
Yeah.
is actually a pretty good analogy. Like I'm fucking,
Well-
I'm Catholic.
Yeah, well,
but
Yeah,
that is actually a really good analogy. I
mean, I agree,
really
like-
respect that.
Overall, I agree with the fact that I think life is almost better, but you are specifically talking about religion, and even more specifically, Christianity, who, let's be honest, their checklist for how to get into heaven is borderline impossible for any human
Yeah.
being. Like, have you ever-
restrictions.
Like, have you ever lied? Sorry, you're doomed. Have you ever had an uncleansed
The
thought?
way-
You're,
the way
you're
I see it,
doomed.
for like Christianity and stuff like that is who's the okay in Christianity who do we believe that the perfect person is, and
No,
the
I think
perfect
isn't like
person-
every person in that Bible like some form of sin,
no
No, Jesus is
except
Christ,
for mine is him, but that's a little different. Nah,
exactly.
Jesus' sin was caring.
Well,
Yeah.
Mary
About
isn't.
humans.
Okay.
Got him
Okay.
killed, bro.
Yeah, his sin was asking.
Oh,
He's the
yeah.
one that asked.
No,
man.
He
Mary's
died
like-
for a bunch of sinners. What a weirdo. The
Mary
normal
could-
human would not have done that.
Oh,
Which I guess is kind of the point.
we're going into uncharted territory.
But Mary is also considered to be like the antithesis of sin because she's the one who gave birth to Christ, and because she's so pure, she was the only one who could have been given birth to Christ.
Yeah, I think she just cheated on her husband. I mean, there's just no way. Like, this is how Christianity started, right?
Just destroyed the whole Bible right
Dude,
there.
this
He's
is
like, yeah,
I'm telling you, this is how
he's
Christianity
hooking up with
started.
other dudes. It wasn't
Mary,
God's baby. You just
How
hooked
are
up
you
with some other
pregnant?
guys.
There is no way you're pregnant with my kid. And she's like, shit. She's like, oh, don't worry. This was God. This is
Yeah.
God impregnated me. And then her husband was probably like, yo, who's this God? And how do I give him a piece of my mind? And she was like, no. And then she explained omniscience and, God
Scared the
figure.
fuck out of him.
And boom, religion.
we're taking a straight path to uncharted territory. I'm just. I mean, yeah, that's pretty funny.
This is just true.
Yeah.
But let's say it's not.
the thing
The
with
alternative
that-
is a
thing-
woman was pregnant without the use of sex
Yeah. Well.
or impregnation.
See, the thing with that is
Was God
like,
something kind of scandalous?
a lot of I've said this a lot to you guys, but a lot of religion revolves around faith, because if you don't have faith, then there's no point in following a religion, right? So whenever stuff like this, like what we call miracles, like just or what you guys call bizarre, basically, like for example, Mary getting pregnant, where when you guys think that she cheated on her husband, or something. Or like Moses splitting the water, or something like that. Well, not the water. The
That
Red
looks
Sea.
cool. Probably. It probably looked
But-
sick.
Thing is, we can't really prove, that it actually happened, right? All we can really do nowadays is have faith, and look back on our books, right? But the thing with that is a lot of people leave religion. Well, not a lot, but people leave religion because, there's no evidence of or trace of this happening, basically, because all of that happened like thousands of years ago, right? But most people that are in the religion just, have faith that it actually happened. And because of that, some people don't believe that because there's no evidence. So they'll just split apart from the religion. Say it, Chris.
From the religion.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
There you go. I mean,
Well-
I can see why a lot of people also want to get away from religion too, because it can be very binding, like as Slicer said, right? Where it was
Mhm.
there's a lot of if you go from being an atheist or not believing in any gods or anything, right, and then just being handed a Bible, and it's a lot of your daily things are going to change if you actually want to follow it and
Yeah.
be correct about it. So I mean, that can throw a lot of people out, because I mean, if you go to someone, you're like, yeah, you can't you just can't have sex anymore until you're married. Some people,
Oh, man.
I know some people that would lose their marbles after hearing that.
Harry.
Harry.
Yeah,
No,
well,
The
Harry-
thirstiest man alive.
To be fair to
he would not be
Harry,
fine.
To be fair to Harry, he's also probably the same kind of person that's like, what do you mean we can't disprove there's a heaven, bro? Just fly a plane up there, see if it's there.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, damn.
If you held something shiny in front of him for a minute,
See,
he'd get
he sees
distracted.
it and he's
Yeah.
like, no, that's not heaven, bro. I swear to God.
That's like having there's a building.
It's not there, man.
It's not there.
I mean, I feel like the number of kids and teenagers especially leaving religion is a lot higher today than any other time, obviously, because you can do it without dying.
Yeah, it's more
But
acceptable.
religion's one of those things.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
Yeah, religion's one of those things where if you weren't raised with it, there's a very, very low chance that you'll embrace it when you're older. But the other way around is if you were raised with it, you'll either stick with it or there's a high chance that you'll break off and become pretty atheist and then kind of mellow out. I wasn't raised religious, if you couldn't tell, but I did go through a more of an atheist phase when now I would consider myself more agnostic and less edgy about it, because I'm like, I don't know. And it doesn't affect me. I don't really care either. which is convenient.
Yeah, I can see that. See, the way I see a lot of it is a lot of people what's it called? Well, not a lot of people. That's not what I was trying to say. How I like to see it is there's like a new way of life nowadays, you know, a way to like escape the reality of just dying later on in your life, you know. And so back then it was like, you know, you could you go to church, you know, and you'd have you'd get a sense of hope and a sense of relief from knowing that, you know, you have faith in your religion, and you can if you, as long as you follow these guidelines to this religion, that you'll be granted the path to, you know, your heaven basically. But how I see it nowadays is because of our new way of life, you know, with like all of the games and shit, all our, you know, our TikToks, our YouTubes and shit like that. Because of that, that's now their new escape from, you know, reality basically. And now, you know, they just like, they go to church and like, I don't care, you know, I could just go home and just play on my iPhone and shit.
That's actually an interesting view of it, because you viewed, so you're saying that religion used to be more of an escape, but now there's just more options for escaping reality.
Yeah,
When I would it actually makes a lot of sense, and I'm going to half agree with you by saying I almost think that another reason why religion is becoming less popular is still because of the internet, but in like a different way. Like having access to the internet is just an access to an abundance of information and even communities that odds are kids will probably learn about the lack of religion if they were raised with it, and, you know, some flaws in like the Bible's plural, and like all that stuff, and they'll learn earlier, and then they'll really think about it, and I think dwell on it. Now, obviously I didn't go through that, but I can almost guarantee that there's a lot of people that have.
I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people were pushed away from Semitic religions because of the homophobia found in it, and that's what
a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people separated from the church because of the
Yeah.
or especially like the Catholics.
I don't know what religions other than Catholics do. I don't know if do Muslims do that as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
They
Yes.
touch
I
children.
mean, there's like 95% of like.
Is that what he asked?
I mean, like a lot of like original. I don't even original is the right word, but like sourced religions kind of just have be straight, and I mean
Straight.
that's it. You don't get any.
Straight.
You talking about homophobia? I thought you were just talking about straight up.
Yeah, just right in the Bible, underneath the first page at the very bottom, it says in parentheses, "Be straight."
Straight.
Yeah,
straight,
all right.
no cap.
I'm gonna clear up what I said earlier. When you said the homophobia, for some reason my brain instantly went to like the old kid touching scandals that plague the Catholic
I thought
Church.
actually was just kind of obsessed with touching kids. So
No, hang on.
Immediately.
All right, sorry. Step one, fuck you.
That's
and
why
step
I
two,
got confused
no.
when a comment existed.
No, yeah, I know. I realized this. I was like, oh, they're talking about just general homophobia when I'm talking about like,
Children,
you know,
touching.
felonies. Yeah. Well,
one of those
you
days
know
they
what?
need
Fuck
to-
it. I'm gonna use this to transition. That breaking with like the Catholic Church was another big reason why a lot of people actually stepped away from the church. Like, oh, this place sucks. They covered this up. That's awful.
Yeah.
It's also what
And-
happens, you know, when you take a bunch of creepy old men and say you are not allowed to have sex or even like think about it, and then they're surrounded by choir boys. These fucking
And when
savages.
you lose faith in the
These
institution,
psychopaths.
when you lose faith in the institution itself, you lose faith in the groundworks of the religion, and it brings like doubt about the existence of the promises that said religion brings, like Christianity and the afterlife.
I mean, absolutely. You're like, this guy is spreading the word of God. He's also touching kids. I don't really think I want to be near this guy
That's why
or take his advice.
That's why, like, a lot of people, you know, even though you don't see it nowadays, like, that's why, not nowadays, but you know how, like, back then, there was a lot of, like, terrorism and Al-Qaeda and shit like that? That's why a lot of people, you know, they'd associate that a lot with, like, the Muslim culture, and so a lot of people would have a lot of, like, backlash against them, when in all reality, it wasn't entirely that, you know?
Yo, can I raise my hand again?
Yes.
I'm gonna
So
move your car down
please.
if you interrupt.
funny story about like people being like anti-Muslim, you know,
Mhm.
and Islamophobic. Everybody categorizes that as the person being Arabic or Middle Eastern, and a lot of people doing that can be like are like Western religious, right? So they're like Christian or Catholic or whatever, and they believe in Jesus. Jesus was Middle Eastern. Fun fact.
Damn.
Whitewashing.
So
kind
so
of.
it's kind of ironic that they're just like, oh my god, this person's Middle Eastern. I hate them. And then Jesus was Middle Eastern. So
Arc
it's like
spitting
touche
facts.
liberals,
Yeah.
It's true.
you know.
Yeah. Can I raise my? I'm just kidding.
No,
Raise
no,
your
no,
hand,
wait,
bro.
wait, wait.
Can I raise my
One
hand?
more thing. One more thing.
Uh-oh.
We were
I gotta
all
go pee,
talking
man.
about like Western religions, right? With the idea of God.
Well, religion
about
and afterlife,
Taoism?
yeah.
What
Yo.
Taoism and like non-centralized religions.
So
They
I know,
believe in the afterlife too, and karma.
right? Like with
Karma.
Hinduism, they believe in like the universal soul. I think it's Brahmin, and
Yeah.
after once you've gone through enough cycles and you've accumulated enough dharma, I think it is.
Yep.
Well, you've
Yeah.
accumulated enough good dharma, then you get to be one with the universal soul. So, yeah, no, that's all I have to say.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking
Yeah,
about Taoism. Now, for the people in the back, and by people in the back, I mean me. Could you explain what Taoism like actually is?
Well,
Because I'm not a walking encyclopedia.
Taoism.
So
Ark, you can explain
Taoism. So you know how there's like the stereotypical Chinese yin yang.
Yes.
Yeah.
The symbol of the yin yang is the symbol of Taoism. It's the perfect balance in life,
Yeah.
and it's the most. I think it's the most popular Eastern religion, if not second to Hinduism.
I think it's also the
I-
most popular
I think
tattoo, like on the
Buddhism might be
planet.
the most
Yeah,
popular.
basically.
I think.
Yeah, Buddhism.
Yeah.
But pretty much it's just symbolizing like a perfect balance. So if you do good things, then I don't know. It's hard for me to explain since I don't specifically believe in said religion.
Understandable.
It's
Yeah.
more of
But-
like, do you guys know like Shintoism? I think it's more like an animalistic.
I think I've heard
It-
of that.
Yeah, I think I have
Shintoism
to.
is like Japanese, and it's more based on spirits and animalistic stuff. Like, there's maybe multiple deities, or maybe there's no deities, but I think Taoism is more of like a belief system rather than a religion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would actually argue
Yeah.
the same
Oh.
thing because I feel like I almost embrace some Taoist tendencies, but like I would not consider myself like a follower. Like I feel like I believe in like do good and like good would happen, but not because of like any form of God or anything. That's just like how humans work. But it's that more. But then even like karma, like I don't know if I like really believe in karma or that's like a nice just thing I have in my head. Like, oh, wouldn't that be nice? But then it's a compelling thought and it's easier to accept because there's no like strings attached.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, if that's true, that's cool. It's one of those.
So now that we're more onto like the general topic about religion, I have like a big problem with religion in general.
Oh baby.
So religion is pretty cool sometimes, right? It creates a community with people. You can celebrate feasts and stuff, whatever it may be. It kind of makes you part of the collective community. It makes you feel not so individual. But religion also steals one's own individual aspects, and it kind of forces them to conform to said like religion's.
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for?
Dogma.
Yeah, religion's dogma. And then like it also, like I was saying, it kind of takes away from your own life because you create this expectation for an afterlife and you work your way towards it, and that's what you focus on for all of your life, being a perfect Christian, being a perfect Muslim. But then what happens if there is nothing?
It's a big gamble.
Yeah.
It's like putting all your chips on green. It's like, oh man, that would be sick.
Very bad
But
chance.
if you're inevitably wrong, no offense, then that would suck because it would kind of it does kind of engulf and become your life.
Yeah,
But-
the way I like to see I hate to cut you, but the way I like to see how in my religion, how I like to see how people go into heaven is not because of like what, well, mostly because of what you do. That's what I meant to say. But how I see it is that if you're not in the religion, it's not like you're just gonna go to hell. That's not what I believe. What I believe is that God judges you, right? And he like, you know, he doesn't ask you anything, right? He just, how I see it is God's watching you all the time, right? And then when you die, he judges whether or not you belong in the kingdom or not. It's not us that, like, you know, I don't fucking know. I don't know how to explain it. I had this discussion with my dad and he destroyed my brain, so I'm not even, I can't even.
I hope you
process
didn't
it.
tell your dad, like, I really hope God wasn't watching some alone time because that was pretty disgraceful. There's nothing holy about that.
Second I die.
That's
and
kind
go
of
to
my point. Like, why can't we enjoy our alone time? Why must we be like fearful? Why must we be fearful of that?
Dog, if I
Because, you know,
thought there
why
was
not?
some, if I thought there was some like, you know, old man watching me,
Exo will
Yeah.
just whack it harder.
oh, dude, talk about asserting dominance on God
Exactly.
himself.
Power move. Like
That's what I
Santa,
mean.
bro. When I was 8 years old. No, I'm
Get,
kidding.
get
You see-
out! No,
Alright,
shut your
yeah,
mouth.
Alright,
Shut your
You're
mouth.
done. I'm
Sit
gonna
back down.
quickly change the
I'm
topic.
moving your card to red. I'm calling your parents after class. I swear to God.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm gonna
you're
write
losing
a
a
note.
golden star. You know who's got?
Yeah.
You know who's got like
Move your
a
card to
form
red. I'm
of?
calling your
8-year-old
parents.
me.
Now.
You know which religious group has really got the concept of afterlife correct? Where it's like it's probably like almost like one of the best. I'm telling you, bro. The Buddhists have got that shit figured out with reincarnation. Hell yeah, that's a thought right there.
That's.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna go for something else involving 72 virgins, and I was kind of.
No. Here's the thing about reincarnation. Reincarnation, and like sometimes you'll just like think of this randomly. You're like, wow, what if I did live a past life? You know, because you won't remember, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, what if I lived an entire life and, you know, did
Fish.
a bunch of cool shit and then I don't remember because I, you know, died as one does and boom, now I'm in this life.
Oh, I know we're talking about afterlife and shit like that, but I want to ask this existential question, right? The thing is,
Out of
do
nowhere.
you
I like it.
do you think that we're already dead and we're just experiencing something before we like, you know? Okay. Do you
Purgatory?
think that you're in control right now and that you control
Yeah.
your life up until up until you die,
Yeah.
or do you think you're experiencing what you did do and were able to control before you died and you're dead now?
So it's basically that's the
If you
theory of
get
like,
what I mean.
are we in like a coma right now? Pretty much.
Kinda, yeah.
This is all like a coma dream. Like nothing I
So
say
luxury,
matters.
luxury.
Yeah.
Let me broadcast this to you, okay?
All right.
So you're suggesting that there's a possibility that we have no control over our actions, right?
Like
So-
predestination.
So we
Yeah,
are
fate
destined to
and all
do
that.
X, 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 and X, right?
Not really, but I more
Then,
so believe that
I'm kind of confused because wait.
Like-
So we're just not in control.
So you're saying like
That's-
fate? Like,
that's the idea?
basically kind of.
like you can't do anything outside
Okay,
of the path that's
um,
determined.
I don't believe that, but like, you know,
It's a
I
thought.
I think it would be a
hypothetically
form-
speaking.
see, 'cause, like I'll like lay down in bed while I'm just like, you know, just trying to sleep, and then just the thought comes in, like, what if you're already dead? And You're
Yo.
just experiencing everything right now.
The thing is that the only
Experiencing
thing
what?
we can be sure of is our own existence, and if to believe anything else, that we're not in control of our existence, would be a form of philosophical suicide.
I mean,
God
Exactly.
God damn.
Alright, though.
God damn.
Because you
You
have
just shut
you
down
have
my entire theory.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I'm
See-
not a
see,
walking encyclopedia, but
luxury,
Slicer
luxury.
is. So-
Yeah.
luxury. There's another philosophical idea, okay? It's called the power of mind. Or the
Ooh.
power of will being.
I don't have
So if you
Thinking.
can control your own actions and like judge shit for yourself, right? then it's argued that you are in control of your own destiny because you can then rationally reason your actions. For example, you can be like, yo, I'm in control of my actions. I don't have a predestined fate because I didn't rape that person on the street.
Oh,
And
God.
because you can rationally justify you not doing an action, then you can say, oh yeah, I'm not predestined to do that. You know?
Well,
You know, I
the
lost this thought when I was what's it called? When I when I got fucked.
yeah, I
Okay,
thought this was
okay,
Okay,
let
by
me
slice
explain.
them.
Let me explain, audience. I don't mean like getting like something up my poo poo hole. I mean like
Yeah.
Oh!
I,
Met him in
I
person.
got off the druggies kind of.
interesting.
Like I
Glad you cleared
compare
that up.
to now. I had no control, and so now I know that that kind of just explained it for me. Just like
Well, the whole like,
oh, I'm
are
in control
you
now.
is everything predetermined? It's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Even if you're like, well, me thinking of this right now and then trying to outdo it by making a rash decision, the argument will always just be, well, you were predetermined to do that. You were predetermined to think about this and then try to beat it, but that was all predetermined anyway. Like, you can't disprove it. It's one of those things where you're like, oh, well, can't disprove that.
That's
So,
why the thought process behind the power of mind argument is that it's not that you're disproving it, it's the fact that you are questioning whether or not you would be able to do it, which is
Yeah.
then disproving it.
Well, let me tell you this. You brought up the scenario of I didn't rape that person. Now that is only
Oh
second
my god.
to the one thing that will derail any moral problem, and that is if you bring up the Nazis. Be like, oh man, like throw those fuckers into any like philosophical debate, and everyone's like, oh, that just got so much harder. Like, oh, was it oh no, and then like every debate just falls apart. I'm only saying this because I took a philosophy class in college last semester, and I swear every single like scenario we talked about, somehow the Nazis came up, and it was and it was It was,
the class talking
Fate,
about.
what can I say?
it was no like it gave like a moral problem. Oh,
Aw.
see, that's the problem. That is the issue.
They always come, you know?
He was destined.
It's
Aw.
it's like a lonely male. Always come.
Okay.
What is wrong with you?
Yeah, we have some issues.
Hard. You can't just
Now-
say that. You can't say
Now
that
we'll
on
never
TV.
get sponsored.
This isn't TV.
How are we supposed
yeah.
to get Old Spice to sponsor us now? Look what you did.
Old
Actually,
Spice.
let's-
Don't worry.
Trojan.
Yeah.
Let's take a break from the podcast to introduce our new sponsor for today. Trademark.
Volkswagen.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Trademark.
Trademark. Now, what's
Trade-
trademark, you ask? Why don't you explain, Ark?
They sell boats.
Wait, what was the sponsor again?
Trademark.
Bass
Trademark,
Pro Fishing
trademark. Okay,
Shop.
okay.
No, it was Bass Pro
No.
Fishing
So
Shop.
this is actually this
Oh,
is a
man.
company that is new and upcoming, right? It's
Mhm.
actually been recently started by a hobbit, right? His
Mm-hmm.
name is Bilbo T. Baggins. Okay, and he sells tea, and he dances pretty stylish.
Where are you going with this?
Yeah.
Where is this
It's
going?
a sponsor. I'm trying to tell people about your boy Bilbo T. Baggins
Yeah,
and how
30
he sells
seconds.
tea.
Yeah, 30 seconds. That's all they paid you for.
Yeah. You're out of
So
time
is this
now.
a tea ad?
Bilbo T. Baggins
Yep.
is scamming me if he paid me for 30 seconds. Because I just talked for 3 minutes. You
Yeah.
know,
You
Bilbo-
can't promote someone and then
Tea
immediately
bags.
dumpster them right after you just promoted them. It's like, yeah, I love this product, and then as soon as it cuts out, you're like, they didn't pay me enough. Literally garbage. I don't know why they only give me 30 seconds of time.
I hate
That's
this
not how
product.
advertised. You can't dumpster them right after.
Anyways, back
This
to the
product sucks.
podcast.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh,
God, I hate the Nazis.
Somebody we were doing this yesterday, but we didn't really go in depth with it. But what we were doing a would you rather yesterday. Me,
Oh,
Chris, Exit, and some other people in another call. And I had a question, right? And I kind of want to bring it up to this podcast once again, right? So, would you rather, right, be able to see what happens in the afterlife, or would you rather be able to control what happens in the afterlife without
Oh, yeah, I
knowing
remember
what
this.
actually happens in the afterlife?
I definitely said control because honestly, I feel like the other one's just such a gamble. Because the other
What
one
would
you
be
can
the point?
the
What
other
would be
one,
the
the
point in
genie-
seeing?
the other one, the genie would be like wish fulfilled, and it could just show a blank void, and you're like,
See-
well, really wish I picked the other one.
See, I would choose the first the control, right? Because the thing is, let's say you do, right? You do choose the second option, right? And I have a lot of faith in my religion, right? I have faith that I know what'll happen in the afterlife, and a lot of people have that with religion. But that aside, what's it called? Let's say you take a look into the afterlife, right? And then you see that, let's say, for example, being, what's it called? Okay, I don't want. I was about to say being a. Oh,
No.
I was gonna. Let's get a better example. Being a Muslim, right?
Walking in a
Was the
minefield.
right decision, right? And then after you see that, everything changes, right? So, I don't know what I was going on with that. I lost my train of thought. Never mind.
I also lost
you
it
said
at Chris
Muslim
saying
and-
walking through a minefield.
Well, yeah. As soon as you bring up, religion, a lot of things, like, no matter what you say, you're gonna end up tilting someone to some degree with it. I mean, it really doesn't even matter. Like, I guess
Even
there's
if you
probably,
say
like,
you don't
3
believe in
religions.
any religion, then
Yeah, if you say
other
you don't
people
believe
will
in
be
any-
tilted.
You'll
How
get people
dare
mad.
you
If you
not
say you believe in one of
believe
them,
in
you
it?
can get killed for it. And
Okay, wait. So going
Vice
back to the would you rather, I got a question. Is it being able to see and look at the afterlife at any time? And is it the ability to like change
is it gonna
multiple things
change?
in the afterlife at different times?
So, for the would you rather I did yesterday, what I said was, let's say you could do, you're able to control the afterlife, right?
Control
in my
everyone's
scenario-
afterlife or your afterlife?
Yeah, like as
Everybody's,
an
like
omnipotent
everybody.
being, or like
Like
is it
basically,
like you want to be God or do you want to watch God?
basically
Like,
you become God. Basically,
Yo, you can counter watch
you
God.
are
Or-
God.
actually, no, you're not God. You're more so death. Basically, you're now the Grim Reaper or Death or the Angel of Death or whatever.
Well,
the fuck.
I got an idea, right? What if, right? There's like, oh, there's God up in heaven, and there's angels and all that, right? But how does he know that there's not a God above him watching him, making sure he's doing his
How
job?
many
and he's
layers
not made
actually
himself
could
had
aware
this
of
that
that.
go?
thought so much.
That's crazy, actually. I've
had
never
that train
thought of
of
that.
Because past that, it's like, how he can't know if there's a guy above him. And if he says that he is the all powerful, but what
So
if
there are
what if
deity
there is,
levels?
there's just that certain.
Isn't Jesus just a
I know
mini
it's a
god?
stupid question, right?
Celestial.
Maybe
It's
God.
not
yeah,
a stupid
basically.
question. It's a very good question.
That's
And
pretty
it kind
smart.
of breaks
Okay,
down
exit.
the foundations of most religions because it assumes that you have to have unwavering faith in the one God, but then what if there's a God above him?
Yeah, right. And he's not even
How,
aware
I-
that there's.
how
God
I
above him.
see it is like, okay, I know this is a stupid example, but this will make so much sense. So in Dragon Ball Super, okay, now you know where I'm going with this, right?
Oh boy.
Okay, there's Kais, right? Kais, let's just compare to real world. They're just like, they're like I don't know, just people in the Bible, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then the Supreme Kai is basically Jesus, right? And then the God of Destruction is basically God, right? In real life. And then after that, he has a God above him, right? And then there's other universes, right?
Or Cockrock
And,
is.
there's other
complex,
gods of
dude.
yeah, and then there's a tiny little man that basically controls the multiverse. Basically,
That's Goku.
is that what you're
Yo.
kind of trying to get
Are
at,
those-
Chris?
I mean, it's kind of like the whole
It's a little
idea
different
of.
because Chris is saying that, like, let's say Beerus wouldn't know about the existence of Omni. So while you're saying Beerus does know the existence of Omni, but Chris is saying that Beerus would not know of the existence of Omni, and states that Omni doesn't exist as a whole.
I know nothing about Digimon or whatever you just said, but I agree.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
No, I get
Uh,
what you mean. I
yeah.
understand now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's-
So going back to the question, right? See, there's different like ideas for the afterlife, right? Because there's like the 72 virgins one, where if you're watching that, that's just porn.
That's true.
But then if you go to control it, then
Mormon
that's
boys.
a different story.
But to be
boys.
fair to the 72 virgins people, if you actually successfully get there, that means you've never seen porn in your life.
What's the 72 virgins
True.
thing?
So,
Yeah.
you know.
There's a radical
Oh no.
there's a radical belief among certain individuals that say
Incels.
that if you let's say if you do your fullest if you fulfill your fullest duty to their supreme deity known as Allah,
Mhm.
then you will obtain 72 virgins in heaven.
Yeah.
Now this is
Male virgins or woman virgin?
I think that's up to you.
I think it's,
opposite.
I think
gender.
it's non-gender based. You know, like non-binary.
Could be
people.
dudes.
Either not.
Anyway,
And
anyway,
could just be gay.
This is in a very
No discernible
common
traits.
connotation of suicide bombers.
Hmm.
Wait, whoa.
What?
What did you? I'm
Can you
sorry,
fuck
all
the
I heard
virgin?
was he was talking about 72 virgins and they said suicide.
Well, they wouldn't be a virgin anymore now, would they? Luxury.
My brain just kind of skipped.
Okay.
Kind of defeats the whole purpose.
No, but
now, doesn't it?
that's the most common understanding of the 72 virgins.
Why 72 though? Why not like 71?
Chris,
72
Dude,
per-
Why
I
not?
don't- what
69
significance does
virgins?
72 have?
Why
amount
is it
of bones in
69?
your
That's
body.
actually
I-
that's actually a good
you have
point.
more
Why
than
72?
There's not 72 bones in the
I
body.
know.
You actually have 5.
Yeah,
Chris,
but
maybe
if
that's
you,
just how high you can count. Okay.
but think about it like this: if
Actually,
it's
it's
72, if there's one of your body parts will compensate for like 3 bones if you're with 72 virgins.
Maybe.
Think about it. Well, unless you're
I
like
don't know.
unless you're like a really, I don't know, unless you're like Chris or some shit. I don't know.
How I
Excuse
see it
me.
is like you open up like a starter box for like Pokemon, and then you just have all your starting cards and all that, and you could just
You
trade
literally
with
just
other
compared
virgins.
a whole religion in the Middle East to opening a Pokemon booster pack. What is wrong with you?
It's
How, you just shredded
Yeah,
every
dude.
person that supports
It's-
Allah and
it's-
just
Well,
seems
he
like
was just
opening
like-
Pokemon
He was
cards.
just talking about gods in the sense of Dragon
Yeah,
Ball.
yeah,
So,
Chris,
you
hear
know.
me out. Hear me out. They could
High
trade the
standards.
virgins. They could trade them.
Okay,
Just like,
stop,
hey, I like that
stop.
virgin.
No.
Trade 'em.
Yeah, I'll trade
Wait.
you my dude for your woman because I'm not gay.
So let's take a step back.
This guy's too tall.
Who here actually believes in an afterlife?
I do.
I'd say so
Okay.
to some
So-
degree.
What is your ideal afterlife then?
Is this for
That
like
that
luxury or
is
not?
it. That actually that you got me. Actually, I don't know. That's actually a really good question.
Well, I'm gonna hit you with this thought. Heaven sounds super boring.
Yeah,
Like I would
well,
almost think eventually I'd be chilling in heaven and be like, can I just
the
actually be
thing
dead like
is-
for real?
The
This
thing
kind of
is,
sucks.
and me and Anthony have discussed this actually. How I see heaven is one, it fulfills one of my needs, right? Family and friends, right?
That's true.
I wanna be with family. I wanna be with my mom, my dad, my brother, my cousins, my grandma, my grandpas, and shit like that. I want to be able to be with them, and I also want to be with my friends. You know, I don't want to, I don't want to have to like peek over heaven, looking into hell, and just like, yo, how you enjoying it, Chris? Hey,
How
it's
you doing,
fine,
Harry? What do you mean me? I'm saying it. Pick Harry. Harry's
Oh,
going
Harry,
there.
yeah,
There's a maybe
Harry.
for me. Take Harry. He's going there for
Me and
sure.
Chris just peek over heaven. We just look at hell, and we just see Harry, and we're just
How's
like,
it,
yo,
how's
what's
it
up?
going
we're
down
gonna-
there, homie?
What is there like a telescope in heaven that looks into hell?
I got like you know
Binoculars.
the boats like on
But-
the water, like the glass
Yeah,
bottoms.
that's basically how I see it. But the thing is, I don't want it to be like a
What if we're
like a
scared of
copy,
heights?
right? I don't want it to be like a copy of my family, right? Same thoughts and everything. I want it to be the souls of my family when they died. You know, I
Mhm.
want to be with the souls that died. You know,
The
not a
problem with that
copy
is
of
though
them.
is that you can never confirm whether it's them or not.
Exactly.
Life
Well,
will always
actually,
be a
not
mystery even
really,
after death.
Because the way we see it is that like you're able to know whether or not who your family is, like the soul. But the thing is, we don't know how a soul looks like. until we go up in heaven, basically.
I understand
So
now.
you do have a point right there.
So it just depends on your belief. So you're saying that you could tell based off of their soul.
Yeah, basically. Like, kind of.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I kind of think of it as like Discord, right? You just join a different call. They have a different profile picture and name and everything.
Just one says heaven, the other one says hell, and you can just join. You get different roles in it. Like, Grandpa, how's it going, man?
Yo.
Chris,
You
do
get
you have
You
an
got
ideal?
mod already?
You get server muted by your grandpa.
This stupid kid won't shut up. I swear to God.
No, I see it like, I don't know if you guys understand it, but how I see it is like, you know, it's like a Discord call. You don't know that it's a different name, different profile picture, but when they talk, you know it's them.
I understand.
That's how I see it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
basically.
Chris, do you have an ideal heaven?
Well, I mean, I'm not like one of those girls that tries to like summon demons with tarot cards or like eats amethyst and thinks it gives me powers or something, right? But I feel like there's like some kind of energy type thing. Like I really got into Tibetan Buddhism in like researching it and doing a ton of like basically things, just studying it. And it's like I kind of like the idea of everything is made of the same thing, kind of, right? So when like the universe was created, right, everything was created at the same point. Like everything came from the same piece of matter, right? So everything is one, kind of, if that makes sense.
Oh,
where
like
it's,
kind of like a
everything-
universal soul.
Yeah. So like everything is connected. So it's like even going. I'm not saying that like I go outside and rocks should have the same rights as me because they're part human. I mean,
There
it's
you go.
mostly like,
No, that's
like
the
they have
theory.
the same energy, kind of, if that makes
For-
sense. Where it's
For
like,
some reason, that just reminded me of the Power Rangers, and then just the universal soul
Oh my
just comes
God.
together
Oh,
like the Power
that just-
Rangers.
My immediate thought was like the stereotypical like vegan, where it's just or like one of those people.
am
Yeah,
one
I
of
don't,
those
I don't want to like
Rights.
portray myself as
This
that.
is
I'd
meant
say,
to be an
but
insult on vegans. I want to make
Yeah.
that very clear. I'm talking about the stereotype, not the actual
Yeah.
people.
it's just the idea that everything is connected, where it's like I don't. It's more of a feeling than like an idea, if that makes sense. Where if I die or something like that, just knowing the fact that kind of there are parts of me still living, you know, like as long as there's things that exist, I'm technically alive in a weird way. If that, I mean, it's not really like an easy thing to explain, but it's like no matter what happens to me, there's technically going to be a part of me that's still existing, and just. I mean, I guess with the heaven question though, it would be like, I don't know. I guess I don't really have an
72
answer for it.
virgins, and you get to
Yeah,
trade them like
72
Pokemon
virgins.
cards.
Yeah, I
Oh
know
my
I just
God,
talked about all that
I
stuff,
can't believe
but
that.
now that you brought up the 72 versions, I
Pokemon.
think I might need to change.
Honestly,
I might need the Pokemon cards.
after all this discussion, bro, honestly, why can't we all just be ghosts? Being a ghost seems cool as shit.
I mean,
Yeah, meant to
I'd
be
much-
cool.
it'd be
Sounds
kind
awesome.
of baller.
thing is,
I'd much
thing
rather
is-
nothing.
Sick.
Thing is that, like, you know, ghosts. Some ghosts are miserable.
You
That's
could
why they
star in
fucking haunt.
Phasmophobia,
That's what-
dude, and just scare
Well,
some nerds.
See, the thing is, the people that scare, the ghosts that scare people, they're miserable. They're just,
Yeah, they're probably
they're
dicks.
just so, they're just
Yeah.
so done with everything. They're just like, man, get me the fuck out of here. I'm done with this place.
I mean, when you think about it, right, some of the best qualities of living are like, I get to sleep for 12 hours. I could eat a whole cake if I wanted. I
Hell
could join
yeah.
a Discord. I could do things like that. But when it's a ghost, it's like, man, I'm just stuck here looking at ugly people. I can't eat. I can't sleep. I can't get on a Discord. I
If
just
I were
gotta
to
chill.
be a ghost,
You know what?
Actually, let's
Wow,
let's
you
make
make a
it,
really
let's
good
make a
point,
dumb
actually.
hypothetical, right?
Go.
If you were a ghost, where would you haunt?
Your mom's house.
The White House.
Fuck you.
Ooh.
I'd see
The
how many
White-
presidents I could
Definitely
scare
the
to death.
White House. The White House is such a good answer.
I would see how many presidents I could end up killing just from how scared I'd make. Give them a heart attack.
And you're on a watch list.
See
Yeah,
Biden
Congratulations.
versus
I
Joe
probably
Biden.
shouldn't have added. Yeah, I mean,
I would do that just to like
but you know,
pushing like politics in the grave.
yeah. So
I
just-
would haunt the World Trade Center.
Oh my
What?
god. No,
Why? Why
Slicer,
there?
Why?
They don't-
No, because I mean not like the memorial. I just mean like
Oh.
the new World Trade Center. Like you know how they have the Freedom Tower? That seems like a pretty cool place to haunt because you see
Why do
people.
you want
You know,
that?
just saying, the World Trade Center
tone
right
deaf.
off the bat was
Yeah.
not the best thing
put
you
you on
could
a
have
watch
started with.
list.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I-
you're on the same list as me.
Alright,
let's
I
go.
take it back. Maybe like the UN embassy in New York.
All right. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing,
That's
right?
even worse.
That's pretty bad, dude.
What the fuck, Slicer?
Here's the.
I want to go haunt the Cabal, dude.
Actually, you know what? Where would you go, Ark?
Oh, that's a good
Ohio.
question. You know,
Hey, Ohio.
Ohio. Shut up.
yeah,
People
probably
are already
someplace
in pain now.
Ohio.
Yeah, they're already
No,
in pain.
no.
Make it
So, you know the Vatican,
Oh boy.
It's the Vatican.
like Vatican City.
Vatican City, you know, Pope House.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, I went there like 2 years ago.
What?
Place looks baller, right?
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Fucking
Did you kiss the Pope?
tourists there are assholes.
He's too old.
And the people that try to sell you stuff there are also assholes. So I would
Yeah.
100% haunt there, and also fuck the Catholic Church because they touch boys.
Oh my
So
god.
as-
it's like-
Phrasing. But yes.
No, there's no phrasing. They touched them.
Okay. Yeah, you can haunt. If you haunt the Vatican, you can also you can derail like the entire world as you know it, just by giving signals to the Pope that just says your God is wrong.
Exactly.
And then boom, the entire everything is screwed, which is I think is kind of funny.
It's like the
You can do a
Pope-
similar thing if you haunt the White House, but only affects America. Or if you just pick presidents and just absolutely haunt the hell out of them, and the public will be like, even God doesn't like this president. You can be the most politically active ghost on the planet. All the power for America would be in your hands, pretty much.
Or you could just,
The president would wake
terrorize
up. The president would wake up one day and just randomly written in their journal would just be use the nukes, and then boom, you destroyed Earth. You
My
destroyed
God.
Earth.
I like
Chris-
Slicer's
Chris-
method though, of just going
Chris,
straight for
Chris
the Twin
hasn't
Towers.
Oh my
Chris
god.
hasn't mentioned
Dude,
yet,
I
but
didn't
he'd
say
probably,
Twin Towers.
No. Chris would probably fucking haunt the boys' locker room at school and then
Oh
just
my
scare the shit out of people.
Oh
For
my
no
god,
reason.
Oh my God.
I would do more than scaring. I would try to cripple the children
them?
in there.
I bet he'd
what
try to
the
rape
heck?
What?
No!
Okay,
What is
I
wrong
take
with
that
you
back.
people?
I take that back.
Wait, what did he say?
I
Don't worry
literally
about it.
just what do you mean? What do you mean? Oh, I'm getting rid of that. I'm getting rid of. No, you can't hide what you just said
What
to me.
did you just
I was
say?
being peaceful. I was gonna say, oh, I want to injure the children in the locker room. That's not-
audience, I take back what I said, even
Oh,
though I
of course
can't
you do.
regret the words.
Of course you do.
Well, Julie
I-
was trying to fucking
I was-
finger little boys in the
Yeah,
locker
granted,
room.
me saying,
You know what? You know
Feels
what happened to
fucking
me?
weird, man.
You know what happened
on,
to me
dog.
in the locker rooms in high school? People would smack my
You got
ass because my
fingered?
ass is huge, dude.
that's okay. No, first of all, no, it's not. Second of all, that's not any of our
How would
problems.
you know?
Chris, are you speaking from experience?
Yeah,
I am nowhere near him. I am nowhere near. I cannot
That
go
didn't
to
answer
his
the
house.
question.
What do you
That
mean?
didn't
I
answer-
should answer the question. I can't get to him.
Pictures don't lie. That's all I'm
All right, whatever,
All right.
whatever.
Security
Slicer said.
cameras don't lie.
Slicer's
Slicer
response
say?
wasn't any
Oh,
better.
okay.
You want to
Okay.
repeat what your answer was, Slicer?
I
No,
don't know
No.
what you're
Slicer's
talking
was
about.
better.
No.
Slicer's
Oh.
was better. Man's
I
man's
was-
trying to haunt a
I don't know
memorial.
why. Yeah,
Fucking
he's trying to
Chris
haunt
and
a
Butcher out
memorial.
here.
So
I'm gonna
bad.
hunt the little boy's locker room.
I
No,
literally
no.
I'm not gonna hunt a little.
The White
boy's
House is
locker
not a
room.
little boy's locker room.
Yeah, I
okay?
said the White House.
I also said
One
the
could
White
be.
could argue, Chris. One could
What
argue.
what little boys
Let's
are in
not
the
go
White
down
House?
that hole.
Well, I mean, Donald Trump brought his son there, and they lived for a while
That
there.
how old is
Yo.
kid?
Oh,
Like
wait.
13
Donald
You're
Trump
right,
Jr. is pushing 40. I want you to
All
know
right.
that.
Who's
No, his other son, the young
Donald
one.
Trump
Oh,
Jr.
Aaron.
Yeah,
The one that
Uber
wore the
Jr.?
shirt that said "The Expert,"
yeah.
which was a good fashion choice.
Feel like
One
what
second.
if
What?
We've gone
Donald-
too deep, boys.
Trump, youngest son. Let's
Barron.
see this, Chris.
Barron Trump.
Oh yeah, Barron exists.
how old
Yeah.
is
Oh
he?
my god.
He's like,
The expert.
Yo, I forgot
not
he
that old.
existed.
Oh my
15.
god.
How? That means so if Trump is like in his 60s, right? Like 65,
he's in his
Chris,
70s.
I don't want to think about it,
70s.
okay?
That means he must have been like 60
I don't
when
wanna
that
think
coochie
about
it.
man. Man,
I
60
don't-
and he's still
no.
getting game.
Oh
Oh.
my god.
Props to him for that.
What a terrible thought.
I mean, I mean, it happens, right? It already happened. The kid's already here. You can't get rid of him, so you might as well embrace it now.
It happened 15 years ago. We don't want to talk about it right now.
Well, you know what? It's the past that
Chris,
affects the
once
future.
was batted off, okay?
Oh my
No.
god. Art.
Yeah, Ark, you're on some next level shit.
What do you mean? He's the one talking about Donald Trump getting pooned, okay?
No,
You are right.
What am I supposed to say? No, he didn't. Well, he obviously did. He had a kid come out of it.
Oh my god.
Test tubes. That's all I'm gonna say.
Test
Didn't this
tubes.
conversation
Test
start on religion and afterlife? Where are
Yeah,
we?
Yeah.
this is
This
Donald
this
Trump
is religion,
has
and
to
this
do
is
with-
the afterlife.
This is the
Exactly.
future.
You know what? The exit does have a good point. We went from talking about the afterlife to never mind.
Talking
I was
about
about to say something about the locker room.
yeah, you making false accusations of me in the locker room with children that I had nothing to do.
You know
I
what?
just wanted to injure children, not do anything
let's-
sexual.
Let's get some final thoughts going. So,
I like that. I like that idea.
you know what? Slicer has. Slicer's been killing it with questions. Slicer, how about you give us a final question for the podcast?
Yeah,
That's
think he
I'm
killed
also
it.
yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with him on that one. I can't really complain.
I think he worked too hard that he's brain fried, which I respect.
It started crumbling.
Let's ask you, Chris.
Yeah, you started this whole debacle,
How
Yeah,
about you ask the final question?
this organized podcast.
it's answering a rhetorical question that you can't answer, and you have to be dead, but you can't answer it if you are dead. So people are stupid, and religion.
Is this a question or a
That's
statement?
not a question.
That's a statement. What do you mean? That's my final statement. And it's a
Alright.
question.
Yeah, but give us a
I don't
question.
think it was a question.
A question?
Yeah.
Do you think
Mhm.
that when certain people die, they go to like like a caste system, or do you think everybody dies and goes to the same place afterward?
It'd be nicer to think that everybody goes to the same place. Like God, I hope there's not like a bougie rich person heaven. Oh,
The Gucci heaven.
the Gucci heaven.
The super
Our,
heaven.
our
The
napkins are
Supreme
Gucci.
heaven.
Supreme heaven.
It just says Supreme on the front of it.
Yo, bro, we got the Supreme
And then right next
place.
to it, the broke boys.
We got the Supreme clowns.
See, again,
You-
it'd be nice that everybody goes to the same place, but the thing is, we have terror people. Terror people. We have terrible people in
Terraria
the world.
people.
You know,
Mhm,
we have we had Osama bin Laden. We had fucking Hitler. We had all those people, right?
That's
I
what,
wouldn't want to be
yeah.
in the same
Chris,
place
my
as
God.
them, basically.
I'm still here. I'm not dead yet.
that's what turns me off to like
Rhetorical question.
some like religions and shit. Where I'm like, oh, so the idea is if it doesn't matter how bad you are in life, as long as you like repent to the correct God, you'll be rewarded.
I like to think of it as like
It's kinda- it's
you
kinda
get
messed
judged at the end, because what I want to do.
That is a more fair thought.
Yeah, what I want to do before I die is I want to give back to the world for giving me, the food, for giving me Chris's stupid moments, for giving me,
I did that.
Oh,
That was
my-
me.
for giving me my family, my friends. I want to be able to, give back. And one way I've seen to give back to the earth before I die is farming.
Whoa.
Like
He's announcing his new career way before.
But how I see it is, it's not
Farmer
like a
luxury.
career, well, a kind of career, but basically how I retire before I die, just farming.
That's cool.
Just
I
taking
can
care of
appreciate
myself
that.
and giving I could give, instead of giving my food to like not only do I just make money off of making food, but I also do half of it by giving it to the homeless to give them hope and give them what they need.
Luxury.
Alright,
Wait.
Are you just, did you just
Going
like
off of
announce
what
you're just gonna become a
Luxury
farmer?
just said,
That was
going
out
off
of
what Luxury
nowhere.
just said, it's a common theme in books based in medieval times that when an individual dies, like an elderly person, they plant like a tree over the individual's body.
That's the
And then
strat.
they're just like, yo, my body's gonna give this tree like nutrients and sustenance
Yeah.
for years to come, so my grandchildren and their children are gonna get food out of me. And that's how I kind of viewed what you just said.
Cannibalism.
Yeah, pretty much. Like when I die, I wanna be able with my if I have kids, you know, I want to be able to like I want to give them the farm, you know, and just give them the decision of whether or not
don't
they
know
want to
what way you said
continue
that.
what I wanted to do, but they don't have to. Is what I'm saying. What I can what I want to do is build as work the farm out as much as I can before I die, so that when I give it to my kids, if they want to sell it, they can make so much money off of it for generations to come.
The true meaning of life is to have the most bopping farm. That I respect that.
The tree
My
idea,
farm bussin'.
it's kind of scary if
My
like
farm's
if
better than
I
yours.
go to someone's house and they're like, "Oh yeah, your great grandmother was buried underneath the apple tree. Now she is the apple," and I'm just gonna look at them. Is that cannibalism? If you eat the apples to an extent, you know it is not legal cannibalism,
Chris,
but is
think
it
about it.
morally correct to eat
Think
them?
about it like this. Think about it as like feeding your car gasoline, right? You're feeding the tree gasoline, which is the body.
Okay, hold, I've never heard
So that it
someone
can-
say that they're gonna feed their car gasoline. I'm gonna tell my mom that next time. She's like, "We need to go get gas." I'm like, "You mean you need to feed the car
You
gas?"
need to feed the car.
I'm like, "Was it the car hungry, mom? What do you mean fill the car with gas? The car's hungry, obviously. Not something wrong with you."
You know
His
what?
mom is gonna be like, bro, why can't you just be like me?
Yeah, and then I'm gonna have to walk home.
Look, I already answered the question, but I want you guys to answer. This is gonna be the last question because we've been going on for over an hour.
Yeah.
What do you guys want to do or leave for the earth if you want to before you die? Let's start with exit.
What do I want to leave?
Or what do you want to do before you die? Like in terms of retirement and stuff like that. Like, you know how I had the idea of farming, basically.
Farming's a good one. Shit, yeah. What like legacy do I want? Huh. I guess I never really thought about it. I guess my philosophy was always like, you can't really know what you're gonna, what like the afterlife entails, if there is one, you know, what happens after death and all that. So even when it comes to like leaving a legacy, it's like, don't even really worry about it that much. I'd say just live your life to the fullest. Also, a giant 50-foot statue of your dick and balls. Now that would be a legacy.
That's a good one.
But the other one works too. I liked my first idea better.
I see. What about you, Chris?
Well, there's two mindsets, right? The first one that I had, this is if the second one doesn't work. I'd say just live a decent life, you know. Try to cause as little pain to others as possible. You're not gonna be able to get through life without causing no pain, right? But try to cause as little as possible and be self-aware when you do have to. And the second one is literally just get rid of Ohio. And if I can't do that, I'm backing up on the other plan.
And let's say you do get rid of Ohio. What do you want to be placed in Ohio?
Leave it void. I'm getting Texas next.
Just so people
Texas,
remember.
and then Florida, and then Cali, and then probably Alaska
Yeah.
because no one
Bro,
likes it. They don't
rename it North Texas.
Surprised
To be
you
fair,
didn't
though-
target
Oh my God.
me
To be
and
fair-
Exit.
Chris
I'm
makes a good
moving-
point. Chris makes a good point, and I wanna quickly relapse this. Yeah, I guess the only thing that you really need to leave is if you're ever like mentioned, for someone to be like, oh yeah, they were like a good person. Yeah, so it's just like be the best
Be at
person you
least
can be,
decent.
and then like, you know, because then people will remember you fond. And you know what?
Yeah, I really.
That's
fuck
all you
with
really
that.
need, isn't it? As long as you bring some joy, that's what matters.
Exactly. Yeah. So, how about you, Ark?
Fuck Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Fuck Ohio.
Hear me out. It might seem a little bit Machiavellian, right?
What
Oh,
do you
But
mean?
boy.
joy's pretty subjective, right? Very opinionated. Something can be joyous to you and be absolutely horrendous to another person, right?
Oh boy.
So
Uh-huh.
to completely avoid having any discrepancies in what could be joyous and what couldn't, I just want to leave an impact. Whether it be positive or negative, that makes no difference to me. Right? So as long as you're known, at least by a select amount of people, right? I see that as a win.
So,
So-
arcs of
I
the ideology
don't-
of
you
doesn't
just
matter
don't
if
want
it's
your-
famous
don't
or
want-
infamous.
You don't want your name to die, basically.
Famous is infamous, exit.
Hate to cut out the podcast right here, but when we recorded the podcast, we didn't have a backup for Slicer's audio, and the recording kept cutting out on Slicer, which sucks. But because of that, I'm gonna have to end the podcast right here. So I apologize in advance. This is the end of episode 22 of
Go
the
to
Double
jail,
B
Ark.
podcast.
Get incriminated.
Yeah, we're all about to go to
All right.
jail, so
Well, all
It's
right. Thank you
incarcerated.
guys. Thank you guys for joining the podcast. I really appreciate it.
yeah, it was a
This is-
pleasure.
Some
Yeah,
people
it was
here
a
I don't like.
blast. It was an absolute blast.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah. So thank you guys for tuning in to episode 22. Next time we will be talking about cats. I
Vaping.
don't know, for like for
Vaping
like 30
cat.
seconds.
Cats, vaping.
How to vape a
cat.
cat.
How to vape a cat. All
I'll
right.
be there.
Thank you guys for watching or tuning in or listening or however you're listening to this podcast. Have a good day. Bye. 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 Bye.
Send me money.
Nice.